Okay, here we go. We're not going to call it a face mask. We're going to call it a face covering because we want to leave the face masks for the essential workers and the medical workers for all of the obvious reasons that are filled with compassion. And if by chance you don't have that in you, then think in terms of the worst nightmare is when those people become the drivers of the actual pandemic, right? So we don't want that. Okay, so everybody in their wardrobe has some tightly woven cotton. Cotton is your friend. Woven cotton is a lot better than knitted cotton. Knitted cotton is like a t-shirt, but for this, we are going to need a t-shirt. I'm using a white one here for a specific reason, but the t-shirt is for the purposes of the elastics that either are going to go around the ears or tie behind the head. This is tightly woven cotton. This is a man's button-down, like a professional button-down shirt that my dear nephew David sent to me. It's very cool, and he's so cool and wears to like festivals and such. But listen, you could steal or use your own if you're a man. The tightly woven cotton pajama pants, or this is a little. Oh, sorry, puppy. My little sidekick here, Shadow. Say Shadow. So this is a dress of mine that I can and I may sacrifice at some point. I can make like probably 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 face coverings out of that because 4 layers is ideal. I'm sorry, boo boo. Come on, I gotta show the people your thing here. This is a little romper that just for some reason I just love it. I don't want to give it up, but I could make 3 or 4 out of this. Where the pockets are, gives me 2 layers right off the bat. And so layers are your friend. So I want to go really fast into teaching it because I feel like sad but true is that the shorter the video, the more likely it is to get watched and used. So I'm going to use this man's woven cotton button-down shirt. Okay, it's fast and dirty, but clean, right? Like I want to say clean, reusable, washable, reusable. Okay, and it just I just want to show you how it's it doesn't have to be so specific to be really, really powerfully good. So I'm trying to figure out how to show you this best. Okay, I'm gonna go this way. So you see the seam here? Boom, boom, boom. Da, 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 da. So I'm going to try and use my time wisely, and when I'm just cutting and you could see what I'm doing, I don't have to explain it. I'm going to try to give you like a little bit of mask wisdom. So probably the most important thing I could say, though I feel like it shouldn't be the first thing I say, is that, but maybe so, is that if you don't keep up all your other ways of protecting yourself, social distancing, hand washing, when you touch it, once you have this mask on and you go outside, face covering, not mask, and you go outside into the world and you're not sure if your hands are completely sanitized, when you touch this face covering / mask, you have now touched your face. So all of those same rules apply to keep you safe. Like what I'm teaching you here comes close to, if not equals or supersedes, the N95 respirators that are for the medical professionals and the essential workers. But just like those people, if you're wearing one of those, like 95% effective against the 0.3 micron sized particles of the coronavirus, COVID-19, I guess is the sickness you get from it, that if you're wearing one of those and someone like sneezes in your area and your finger gets a whiff of that, sneeze, and you rub your eye with it, then you have it just the same as if you had no mask on at all. So you got to keep all the precautions. And we're really lucky in a weird sort of a way that our first real rodeo with a pandemic is such an avoidable one. Like, you can, I shouldn't say 100%, I won't say 100%, but you can 99% keep yourself from this coming into your body if you take the right steps and right actions. If you want to be that paranoid, you don't have to be. Really, the point of wearing a face covering is to protect other people, which with the milk of human kindness I hope we would all do. But if not, this one is one that will also protect you, and I'm all for that. Okay, so see what we've got here. Big old piece of tightly woven cotton. You can hold it up to the light. You can see the size of the holes. Flannel that is made of cotton is good, but if you hold it up to the light, you can see the holes are bigger, and you don't want bigger holes. Okay, so this is the one quick rant I'm going to go on as I continue to show you the technique. Let me gather my thoughts so I can do them both at once. Okay, you're also going to need to cut from your t-shirt. This is for your elastics, okay? 1-inch strips. So look how easy this is. This is just a t-shirt that you can see folded in 4s. Okay, so well, I can do this rant while I do this because this is mindless for me with what I do for a living. I shred clothes for a living. Shredded, like shredded, braided, like what you see here and stuff like that. Okay, on Etsy. A little quick plug. It's not a bad thing to do. Okay, so 1 inch, and this makes your elastic. So a thing to say is that anything is better than nothing. Anything is better than nothing, with the possible exception of, and I'm so sorry to burst anyone's bubble, but I know if you're putting out information, you're doing it to try to be helpful. So it's important to know the whole coffee filter thing, not a good idea. Okay, a filter has 2 main points. One is to not let through things of a certain size. So these are approximately 1-inch strips here. And then to easily let through things of a size larger than that. So the holes in a coffee filter are 20 microns large, and the size of the particles, airborne particles of COVID-19, and there's a lot of confusion because most of them are in droplets, which are not quote-unquote airborne like aerosol, but they're 0.3 microns, so 60 to 70, I don't know why I can do this weird math, but check it out, you'll see I'm right, 60 to 70 of the coronaviruses can get through one hole in a coffee filter. So that's the one thing I'm going to say maybe is not better than nothing. Okay, I just had my little rant there. Okay, so how do these end up being elastics? I know there's a fun little sideshow going on here, but look, look, soft and beautiful and easy around the back of your ears. You could tie them behind your head. These can also be used very, very easily as ear savers for the people who have to wear masks all the time. I apologize, I have allergies, and so I'm not COVID. Well, I don't know. I've had some symptoms, but I don't think it's COVID. Okay, so this is a separate thing, but you see here now we have like yards and yards and yards of elastic, and I've not even begun to tear apart this t-shirt. Okay, so what's my other, that was my rant. Told you about the safety. Okay, so now the only other thing we need is tinfoil. Watch this. Now this is going to happen really fast. I can't believe I'm the only person I've ever seen do this or think of this. I hope you can still hear me because the tinfoil is kind of loud. But okay, so I just folded it over 4 times. Now I'm going to take this fabric. Oh, layers. I wanted to tell you about layers and why they're your friend. So this is a fairly tightly woven, fairly thick woven cotton. But say a modern day bandana, which is very thin and not very tightly woven. Very scientific studies, 8% effective. One layer, 8% effective against the coronavirus, getting through it. Now, let's just call it 10 to make it even, to make the numbers easier. Okay. Double that bandana, you think, okay, 20%. But no, 40%. Very scientifically, like, oh, I can't even go. If you want me to go into the details, I will refind the articles and present it to you. You tell me in the comments. Please like this if you think I did a good job. I have all sorts of other stuff to tell you too when this stuff, not this stuff is over. I mean, just when I'm done teaching you all I know about this, I want to tell you about how to grow your eyelashes, how to undo a double chin, how to skincare and all that stuff, because I have to be useful, and I can't sell my shredded clothes right now because they're for going out. Nobody's going out right now, and I need to be useful, and I'm all but bedridden, which kind of sucks. But anyway, where was I? Oh, darn it. I hate when I lose my place. Okay, layers. So you'd think 2 layers of something that was 10% effective would be 20, but no, it's 40. 4 layers you'd think would be 80, but no, it's like 90 plus. So we're talking N95 numbers here, people, for what I'm teaching you, which is 4 layers. Okay, so right now, this is 1 layer. I fold it over. Now it's 2 layers, right? Now, I took this, just to make sure nobody's losing me, because in my mind it's easy, but sometimes what my mind thinks is easy is hard, and everybody else's mind thinks easy is hard for me. So I folded this just in 4s. Just keep it thick enough, right? And you see I'm not so careful how well I folded this. Just as long as I could catch everything in here, right? Catch it, then fold it, and fold it as many times as you can. Each time you fold it, it doubles in strength. And the point of this is a good fit, because if it's not well fitted is the other thing about the mask or face covering, to be clear, that makes it ineffective if there's big gaps, because air takes the path of least resistance. So with my big old schnoz, I can for sure show you this. I think if I could get the angle right. Like if I have a mask that fits me, like if I just put a bandana like this, and there's a big gaping hole right here, then when I breathe in, the air is going to go, right? It's going to actually create a vacuum for whatever is airborne around me to go right up my schnoz. Not what we want. So we want a tight fit here, 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 and here. It's got to fit your face. It's got to be sealed for it to protect you. If you throw anything over your face, it's better than nothing, with the possible exception of the coffee filter. But that more protects other people. And this is a good thing to do. And this stops the pandemic. And also scientifically, somewhere between 20 and 50% of people who test positive have 0 symptoms. And this is how the pandemic just keeps spreading. So everybody cover your face for 2 weeks. Whoosh, the whole thing gets shut down. Okay, back to my little how to make it here. So then just, being a hairdresser and a cosmetologist, I know I don't want this clogging up my pores and stuff. So I'm just going to cover the foil with the fabric. The cotton is so much nicer than, it's not even comfortable anyway. Then you fold this up. Okay, now in the other one I showed, it wasn't so pretty. It had like Spock ears. I'm going to make this one prettier for you, okay? So you fold that up in half. Now, I'm making these out of white ones, not so much to be red, white, and blue, because that can mean different things to different people in today's day and age, and make America great again. That's a little frustrating right there. Okay, so I'm just going to... Oh, glasses. That would make this easier. I'm just going to, cut this in half. Sew me in half. I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna leave it there for right now because I certainly have plenty of string. Why cut myself short? Okay, so here's a great way to measure. Most of us, our hands and our face, the proportions are like this, right? So it gets right to my edge of my cheekbones. That's really easy to like go, okay, that goes from here to here. That's so comfortable. Perfect. I could just tie that right there, right? Da, 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 da. Trying to think if there's anything I meant to say that I haven't said yet while I'm doing this. Okay. So that's going to sit there. Then just to reiterate this on the other side, right? To here. So another way you could measure it for your own mind. So comfortable. The back of your ears, unlike so many essential workers and medical workers and all of the above who are bleeding behind the ears, that you won't need to do because it's so comfortable and it's not tugging and pushing and pulling at your ears. Okay, so that's just a way you could do it. Now we've got the tinfoil in here, right? The tinfoil, just so you know, goes to about here. That's not important. It could go all the way out. It doesn't matter if you did it different. Okay, so now here, I'm going to go like this. As long as this is this long, right? So I'm going to go like this. So the tinfoil is turned in a little bit. This is just to make it a nicer, neater mask. And then I put that under there. And then I just tie a little knot, a bow knot. Either way, the more you, the whole idea of this being reusable is that it's so easy to unbuild and rebuild so many times with no issue and no problem that you just don't have an issue. So there, give myself a little bit of room. Gonna fold it over. This is, the other one I made is easier to follow, but this one is prettier to wear. And if you've watched both, then you're already a fan of my techniques, and you know where I'm going. Oh, I should have. Sorry, I meant to do a double knot on this, just to. Okay. Well, okay, because I'm doing something different here. So now I'm gonna. You see here, this is 4-ply when I open it like this, right? And I'm crinking the nose, right? So now, I just made it. My preference is to have it where I can tie and tie. But in case you have a really cool hairstyle that you really want to preserve, so you want to have it go around your ears, I wanted to make it this way, and so that I could show the ear saver for the essential workers and medical workers that whose backs of their ears are just bleeding, and oh my god, my heart literally bleeds for them. Okay, so I don't think I need to take my glasses off to do this. Well, I hope I did it right. I'm gonna have to redo this whole thing if I didn't, but I'm sure I did. There it is. Okay. So, da-da! Da-da-da-da-da-da! Da-da-da. Oh, that's the wrong song. I was trying to do Rocky. Okay, so, do you see how this makes me a well-fitted... I have a really narrow nose, so I have to push it here. And then it's 4-ply no matter how thin I make it. So I'm pulling this down around my chin, right? Well-fitted, pretty mask. But, so, the promised part of if you're a medical worker and the backs of your ears are irritated and some of them are starting to bleed, oh my god. Like, I literally, it makes me cry. I love you, frontline workers. I don't even know if I'd do what you do, and if you walk out of, I would support you. I don't want to, I shouldn't talk about that stuff. Okay, so I'm doing it out of white material so I can show you that if you have that situation and you can't get or buy, you know, all the different ways people have found to make it so that your mask is held off your ears. Look at this. Any t-shirt. I'm doing this with the white one because it's what I have. I mean, it shows it best, right? Against my dark hair, right? So I do that. I just feed it through. Then on the other side, I have to really bend far to hope I'm in the camera range to show. Feed it through, right? And then I can make this as high up as I want, getting it off the back of my ears. I find it so hard to believe that I'm the only one to think of this, but it's what I do for a living. I work with how to manipulate. You want a mask that fits really well, because once you leave the house, if your hands are not sanitized, you touch your mask, you've touched your face. But it's not that big of a deal because you can wash it. You just deconstruct it, wash it, and reconstruct it. Da, 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 da. Okay, and then that seems like it could be enough for a lot of people, but for some maybe not. So then, I hope I'm in frame. Feed it through lower, right? So that you keep it fully off your ears. Like I want, if you are one of those people in the front line, first off, call me anytime. I'm here to talk to you. But second off, please don't be bleeding behind your ears. If you have a t-shirt in your life or someone you love does, don't bleed behind the ears. Don't be uncomfortable. You are doing God's work and I love you. See? Yes? Good. For the people who don't think it's a big deal, well, you're not my people, so you're probably not watching this. I don't even have to talk to you, but it's the levels and the layers and the whatnot and the so forth. Stay safe. Be well. I love all the hanging things. These could, of course, be cut off. You could draw a smiley face. I like how it ended up red, white, and blue. All right. Enough now. Be well, be well. Be well. Love.